She has become the face of a frustrated movement, and I don't know whether it was just her powerful delivery and speaking from the heart, or the fact that what she was showing was remarkable in that it was the exact same setup. Her outdoor dining, and then the NBC comedy show Good Girls outdoor dining for the film crew putting that show together. Looked identical, looked exactly inseparable, looked like it was just her big old operation, but it wasn't. Hers was shut down. The NBC comedy show Good Girls setup was on, is on, and remains open. Angela Marsden joins us right now, the owner of the Pineapple Hill Grill and Saloon. Angela, very good to have you. I'm sure people have kept telling you this video, your passion was remarkable. But for the life of me, I think what was the most startling to me is you were showing something within mere feet of each other that was identical. Yet you're shut down, they are not.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, pretty hard to believe. I mean, I was in shock, for sure.
Did they explain to you why this happened? I know for this NBC comedy show, or this setup was established after yours had already been dismissed, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Neil, I don't want to focus on the production company so much because, I've said
Understood.
it before. They're hurting. Everybody's hurting, and they're just trying to survive. It's the people that are making the rules and that are issuing permits that it's without conscience, without thought of anybody. It's unexplainable how any of that can actually make sense.
We put out a call to Mayor Eric Garcetti on all of this. He did not respond to us, but he said, my heart goes out to Ms. Marsden and the workers over at the Pineapple Hill Saloon who have to comply with the state and comply with the public restrictions that close outdoor dining. But he didn't say anything about how it doesn't apply to everyone. On the same day, we're learning that there's going to be a lot more of this going on in California with a much more sweeping shutdown of indoor and outdoor dining. What do you make of it all?
You know what? Those are just words, okay? And that does not change the situation and the devastation that is about to hit this city. It is not just me in this boat. There's so many. I'm speaking on behalf of the small businesses and the bars and the restaurants. After this shutdown, some of them will make it 1 month longer. And I continue to say to Mayor Garcetti, please call me in. I'll sit down and talk with you. I'll bring people from our industry, and we will come up with a workable solution, because that is what his job is, right? We put people in office to figure out solutions for everybody, to do risk management, to assess the risks. And small business owners, we care so much about our community and our people. We're willing to do whatever it takes to keep them safe. But if we're not here when you come out of your door, your house in 2 months, the community is going to be destroyed, just destroyed. From unemployment to suicide rates to businesses being shuttered to homeless doubling, tripling. I mean, I'm not a politician. I'm not, I don't have a big fancy degree, but I can see and I can figure it out. So why can't they figure it out? We can't close our businesses. We need to stay open, to survive this. I'm just dumbfounded. I really, I don't understand it. I really am at a loss, and I am heartbroken. I have a staff, my kitchen staff. This place was their whole life. I have other bar owners that have been shut down for 9 months that are losing everything they have. I know other small businesses, one that has a spa that's lost almost all her clients. She's gotten 3 eviction notices, and she's a single mom with a 12-year-old. I mean, what are they going to do when people don't pay the rents and the evictions come out in February? You can't just tell people they can stay at home, because that's La La Land. You know,
Well,
I got a letter
what are you
from,
going to do now?
I'm going to keep trying to get the word out, and trying to bring awareness to a point that maybe they'll do something. For myself personally, I've been very blessed. I mean, quite frankly, awed. My security guard started, in tears, said, Angela, I had lost faith in humanity, and after this, it's restored hope for me, because we have had donations coming in, but I'm one business, and I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that with the help of this, I actually might survive if they pass a package, like, what is going on, that our leadership can shut our businesses and not, with 2 days notice before the holidays, and not offer a solution to pay us to stay in our homes. And if they can't, then do the risk assessment. I have 2 employees that have lost people that are close to them to suicide in the last 2 months. I have a bartender sleeping on a couch. One with a 3-year-old who can't pay her rent and can't get a job. And I just hired her because we'd gotten busy in October. She had 2 weeks of training and then was laid off again from her, 3rd job. This is not realistic. This is not common sense. We need, if anything, if I can appeal to Newsom and Garcetti and say, listen, when you leave your office, do you want to be remembered like, Martin Luther King or like Kennedy? Like, do you want people to look back and say, my gosh, we were in this time of trouble, and these people came up with outside thinking and created compromise to keep us all safe and all going? Because people, it's a human, we cannot live without connection. We cannot live without food. We cannot live without rent. And so I don't understand what is going on here, how they can be that out of touch that they can't see this. And I'm not,
But are you frustrated as well, though, Angela, by what appears to be a double standard? I don't know the latest and whether that film company, I know you're not citing them. You want everyone to be able to remain open and do business. But the double standard from politicians who say one thing and do quite another, of course, it's gotten legion in your state. I'm just wondering, was that what really gets you angrier?
I mean, that is nonstop. So let's just say, you're a small business owner like myself, and you see the governor go out to French Laundry and spend $15,000 on a bar bill. Do you know how much that would have helped a small business like mine? In the middle of a pandemic, when he's telling us not to, with a bunch of people. It's the never-ending, basically shoving it in your face that we're different and we have privilege that you don't, just tells you it must be safe. I mean, Sheila Cooley, her saying that it was the most dangerous thing in the world to dine out, and then going next door and dining out. Do you know what that did to every bar and restaurant owner in this town, and how angry and how upset? We have worked. You can go to my site, PH Saloon. I did tables 7 feet apart. My servers were wearing gloves, masks, face shields, taking temperatures in 110 degrees in August. And, I had to decide between, are they going to have a heat stroke, or are they going to, or do I, get in trouble because they're not wearing the plastic face mask? The double standard is outrageous. And if you put yourself in leadership, your heart has to be for the people. I don't care what PhD you have or who you are. If you are not taking care of the people, and it's not about politics, Neil, it's about people. And people are getting lost in the middle of all these politics and slogans, and businesses. My business has been boarded up. There's been businesses where they've been trashed, they've been caught on fire. We're not just dealing with the pandemic. We have been under siege this entire year.
But they're
I
basing it,
care.
Angela. Apparently, aren't these guys and those in authority blaming the spike in cases, the high hospitalization rates right now? They
Right.
must be tracing it to restaurants or indoor and outdoor dining, but nothing I've seen from the statistics bears that out.
Neil,
Or
they
you
don't
just
have
an
any
easier
evidence
target. What are
gathered.
they saying?
They're saying basically right now we have it in front of the California Supreme Court, and the judge ordered that they had to provide evidence. You know, the evidence that they showed came from indoor dining, from what I hear. So you can fact check me. I'm just a normal person telling you what I've read and heard. That a lot of what they were giving was from 8 months ago, when there was indoor dining, or was coming from across the country. They don't have that proof or that evidence. And you know, to make arbitrary decisions once again with no notice and not providing funding for people to live is the cruelest, most illogical. I mean, I like to say that maybe they just don't know because they're so out of touch, but I just can't imagine that anybody could be this far removed from what working class people go through. You know, I had an email from someone and they said, please don't, you know, put my name. But she said, you know, the Postal Service and the garbage, you know, the cleanup crew, we've had to work the entire time. We don't have a choice. We have to work. And she's like, she was basically saying, I'm on your side. It is a farce to say that we can all just stay at home and wait out. I mean, how long is this going to go now with the spikes? Is it going to go 3 months?
Well, it's apparently
Most of
another
the business,
another three weeks at a minimum. Can you survive
at a minimum,
3 weeks at a minimum?
and the businesses that have survived right now, Neil, are, I mean, I read on Yelp, again, I hate to give statistics and not know exactly if they're right, that 61% of our businesses here that shut down will never reopen. And the ones that are open are spending their life savings to try to get through this to the other side. And this closure is going to devastate LA. I mean, we already have a homeless problem. We have a huge homeless problem. Our suicide rates are going through the roof. I mean, compare the deaths to COVID to suicide rates, I guess. I don't know. I mean, every life matters, and we don't want people sick, and we don't want anybody to die. But we have to, we're going to die from poverty. We're going to die from depression. We're going to die from suicide if somebody doesn't do something. And I beg,
can I ask you if we could go back, Angela? I apologize, but I did want to check.
That's okay.
Your video that you provided was so riveting, and it sounded like you had just discovered this weird thing going on right next to your outdoor dining facility, this one set up for this film crew. And you didn't mean to disparage them, nor did you, but that they looked identical. They looked like the identical setup. They're open, you're closed. What made you? It's at that point that I almost got the feeling. So I've got to show this to the world. I've got to show that they're identical, and yet they're going to be open, and I can't be.
Neil, I kid you not. 2 days before Thanksgiving on a Monday, they told us we had to close the night before Thanksgiving, and I knew because I had tried to do takeout before, and I was feeding the hospitals, that I wouldn't survive, and I had to shut down. I was coming in that day to give last paychecks and bags of groceries to my staff. I had no idea what I was about to walk into. And if you can imagine giving last paychecks and telling people with children and people that have worked here since 1978 that they don't have a job in the holidays, and they have to parade through what looks like another restaurant open and working like next to us, I was in shock. I started crying, and I said, I have had it. Restaurant owners, business owners, we're afraid to say anything because we're afraid that people will think we don't care about COVID or we don't care about people. But I was like, I can't be afraid anymore. I have to let people know what's going on because this is, it was devastating. You know, and the city gave them that permit.
Everything I own is being taken away from me.
Angela, I got to tell you, I've seen many videos provided by people whose business was affected by this. This was so powerful because you were revealing something of a double standard that few people were aware of, right next door. I think that's what hit home for a lot of folks. And even for those
Neil?
who were worried about COVID-19, that's what registered. People just said, that isn't right.
On Black Friday, I was so depressed. I thought, I wonder if anything's open. The mall was open. On Black Friday, after they shut me down, I went to the mall, no temperature check, no plastic face shields, no gloves. Anybody can try on any piece of clothing indoor that they want on Black Friday after they shut us down. I mean, it started that morning and it started inside me, but it was, you know, a higher power. What happened on Friday, I am still in a whirlwind from, and that was just somehow the world. I don't even know how those circumstances, they just came about, you know, and it was nothing. I didn't expect any of this or all this, but I do know so many businesses and employees and people have said, Angela, please keep talking to people. Please speak on our behalf because we're not going to make it, you know. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind, and I am awed in the human spirit. I've had people from England call me. I've had people from Australia call, from all over the country, because everybody is in this. Like, we're in this together. You know, and it's not me against the production company or me against, the massage parlors or the mall. You know, it's just about people and us surviving this. It's like the Titanic's going down. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit and play a fiddle? You know, or are you going to get the lifeboats out and start thinking outside the box and save people? And that is literally how serious this is. And we will not know the effects until, like I said, in February, they're going to start pulling evictions. Do you know how many people, how many restaurant employees are not paying their rent? And when your rent is over $1,000 a month and it's not been paid for 5 months, 6 months, 10 months, what are you going to do when they start evicting you or telling you to start making payments with regular rent on top of that, with no job to go to, because there's not going to be any jobs left. The businesses are going to be gone. It's such a big trickle down issue. And numbers going up. You guys knew in March. So open up the empty hospitals, bring the ship, get space for the ICU beds, but you can't crush people, the average person in the lower class, the middle class. You can't crush them to try to save others and pit us against each other. You can't do that and expect to come back to a city. I know it sounds desperate, but it's desperate. I mean, it's desperate. If I could show you the stories and the homeless that I had a homeless man jump through my to-go window.
Oh, man.
I know a bartender whose son was just robbed in their front yard by gunpoint. People are desperate, and it is very, very, very serious. And these politicians, I don't know how they're not seeing this, or how they're not getting it. You know, this is real lives that they're affecting.
Angela, you didn't want to become, nor did you seek out becoming a spokesman for your industry.
No, I did not.
But you are now, whether you like it or not. And
I just hope it does something. I hope it moves somebody.
Any politician. I want you to hang in there, Angela. You've moved a nation. I'm getting emails from people as we speak, listening to you, mesmerized by you. I hope it works out. It should work out. But no industry, no group could look for a better champion than you. And sometimes in the middle of a crisis, people like you evolve. They come up out of nowhere. I'm not saying you're out of nowhere, but you're somewhere.
Somebody
now.
sent me a quote, and I wanted to share this quote because I've been trying to, people are asking me questions and I don't even know the words to put. I try to speak from my heart and I'm like, oh, geez, I hope I'm doing it right by everybody else, all the other business owners, And it was this quote by Bob Marley. It said, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. And that's where we're all at right now. I don't want to open up and hurt anybody. I want my place to be safe and be open. I don't want to lose
Fair
my
enough.
liquor license and my health permit. I just want to live. I want my staff to be able to eat,
Fair enough. Fair enough. By the way, I think Bob Marley would be very impressed with your, saloon and bar. I think he'd very, very impressed. But Angela, I want to thank you very much. My best to you and all
Thank
your
you.
incredible people, but particularly to you. I know you don't like being in this role, but it's a damn good thing you are. Angela Marsden,
Thank
Pineapple
you.
Hill Grill saloon owner, just trying to make sure that everyone gets a fair chance, a fair crack. No double standards, just one standard. Looking out for people and their livelihoods.